This story discusses sensitive topics, blending real experiences with fictionalized events, names, and timelines. It is not a factual account, but a storytelling interpretation. Dearest witness, you stand at the threshold of my unraveling, where even my own shadow fears to linger. Beyond this line lies the naked truth of my 31 years, a place where love and betrayal are not bedfellows, but conjoined twins sharing the same frantic heartbeat, where the body keeps secrets too dangerous for the mind to name. I could soften the blow with warnings, but you crave the unvarnished truth. The husband who split me open with his vows, then stitched me shut with his heresies, each thread a blasphemy that somehow held. For 6 years, Europe unfolded before my infant eyes, a dream painted in castles and cobblestones, lost to me now save for the faintest glimmers of memory, a haze of laughter, the scent of foreign bakeries, the blurred faces of companions who surely thought me dear. For children, I am told, are quick to friendship and quicker still to forget. My parents, dutiful, doting, shepherded our brood with equal parts discipline and affection. My brothers, a cacophony of boyish mischief, and I, the sole daughter, both their tormentor and treasured ally. A merry band we were, though I dare say my brothers would recall my reign with less fondness. Yet let it not be said I was ungrateful. No, I knew even then that ours was a fortunate lot, to want for neither love nor adventure. But how cruel is time, to grant a child paradise and leave her only shadows of it in return. My prelude to womanhood found me deposited, quite without my consultation, upon the sun-baked plains of Texas, a land as foreign to me as the moon, and twice as inhospitable to those unaccustomed to its peculiar codes of conduct. Yet, adversity had long since taught me the art of camaraderie, and I secured for myself a modest coterie of companions, as a soldier might secure footholds in ever-shifting terrain. Little did I suspect that the first true pivot of my existence would occur not in some grand ballroom or under the drama of a storm-ridden sky, but in the unremarkable hallway of my parents' home. I had but lately returned from the gym, that temple of sweat and self-reproach, where I labored to sculpt a form more pleasing to my own unforgiving eye, when I encountered one of my brother's innumerable friends, a collision of no consequence, or so I presumed. I murmured an excuse me without so much as lifting my gaze, and thought no more of it. How capricious is fate to weave her designs in such trivial moments. 3 days thence, on a Valentine's Day as ordinary as any other, save for the obligatory exchange of paper hearts and chalky candies, my brother collected me from school in his garish red hot rod, a vehicle he cherished more than sense itself. As we rattled down the road, he bade me with infuriating nonchalance to look upon the back seat. There sat a gift bag, adorned with hearts of the most cloying variety. Assuming it some token for one of his own dubious admirers, I was midway through a scathing remark when he interjected. "It's for you, from Alex." "Alex? You met him at the house the other day, according to him." Reader, I was at once flattered, affronted, and profoundly discomposed. Who was this bold stranger, to mark me for attention after so fleeting an encounter? And why, pray tell, did my traitorous pulse quicken at the thought? The thrill of it cooled in my stomach like stolen champagne, effervescent, illicit, intoxicating. Unexpectedly, a suitor, who had not only marked my existence, but actively sought more of it. Such attention was foreign to me, and I dissected it with the fervor of a naturalist examining some rare and dazzling specimen. His MySpace page revealed him to be precisely the sort of rogue my young heart had long romanticized. Tousled hair, smoldering eyes, and a profile littered with lyrics from bands whose very names suggested danger. A bad boy. How original, and yet how utterly irresistible. My better judgment, a feeble creature at best, was swiftly overruled by the giddy certainty that this would be no tame dalliance, but a tempest. Our messages spun a web of mutual fascination, witty, charged, brimming with possibilities. Within a week, my brother, ever the reluctant Cupid, announced Alex's desire to escort me on a proper date. Ever the pragmatist, my brother proposed a double outing, as though his presence might somehow temper the recklessness of the affair. The cinema was our stage, and fate herself intervened when the crowded theater forced my brother and his companion to sit apart, leaving Alex and me in delicious isolation. We shared a soda, a paltry beverage, but the act felt laden with meaning. The straw became a battleground of indirect kisses. The ice cubes clinked like conspirators. And then, his hand closed over mine, fingers intertwining with a confidence that left me breathless. In that dim glow of the projector, I was no longer the girl who faded into hallways. I was desired, seen. When the credits rolled, we rose, still clasped together. And as we navigated the aisle, his palm found the curve of my backside with a playful swat. I giggled. How predictably I played my part. And then he posed the question that would alter everything. We've been getting to know each other a while now. A pause, weighted as a pendulum. Want to be my girlfriend? Reader, I accepted with all the eagerness of a moth hurling itself into a flame. He was almost a man by the crude metrics of adolescence, and I, navigating the confusion of young womanhood, yearning to know the poetry of the flesh. The world deemed our union precarious, and rightly so. My virginity, that gilded cage, remained technically unbreached, but oh, the bars were bent near to breaking. Alex, to his credit, wore his restraint like a borrowed coat, ill-fitting, but donned with solemn resolve. Our parents fretted over the arithmetic of it all, the 3-age gate seeming scandalous, but I was mature for my age. But we were alchemists, transmuting their fears into kindling for our own private inferno. Forbidden love, is there any other kind worth mythologizing? He schooled me in the lexicon of touch, with the patience of a scholar and the hunger of a thief. His hands, those deft conspirators, mapped my body like cartographers charting undiscovered lands. I learned the weight of a palm pressed against the small of my back in a crowded room. The illicit thrill of his fingers skating beneath the waistband of my jeans behind the bleachers. And when at last he touched me, there, with fingers that knew their trade, I understood why Eve bit the apple without hesitation. We were reckless architects, building altars in every shadowed corner. The backseat of his car fogged with our breath. The janitor's closet at school, where the smell of bleach mingled with my stifled gasps. I often wondered if some surveillance camera, perched like a mechanical voyeur, had captured us, my head thrown back against a stack of textbooks, his wrist working under my skirt, and if some faceless security guard now kept our sins in his collection of illicit tapes. He did not take my maidenhead, but he plundered every other innocence, and I, greedy pupil that I was, demanded my lessons with a fervor that frightened even me. For one fleeting year, our passion burned with the heedless intensity of a brush fire, bright, consuming, and destined to reduce itself to ash. I, in my tender inexperience, wielded love like a child brandishing a saber, all fervor and no finesse. My whims dictated tempests where there ought to have been tranquility. My insecurities, like insatiable gremlins, gnawed at the foundations of what might have endured. I knew not then that love demands not merely the heart's abandon, but the mind's labor, a lesson I would learn only in the losing. He severed the bond with the clinical precision of a surgeon excising a tumor. And was I not in some ways a malignancy? All hunger and no nourishment? I told myself he sought in others what I could not provide, some alchemy of maturity and mystery that my girl's hands had yet to craft. The truth, perhaps, was simpler. I had been a spark, and he desired a heart. The aftermath was a slow unraveling. Heartbreak, I discovered, was not a single stab, but 1,000 paper cuts, each harmless alone, but together exquisitely debilitating. Seeing him at my brother's gatherings, exchanging pleasantries that tasted of sawdust, was its own peculiar torment. Our gazes would catch, then skitter away like startled birds, heavy with all that went unsaid. Years passed. Other loves flickered and died in both our orbits. pale imitations of what we'd scorched into one another's skin. Yet time, that cunning thief, could not wholly pilfer the embers. A glance held too long here, a jest that veered too near intimacy there, proof that some fires refused to be fully extinguished, only banked, waiting for a breath to reignite them. Dearest watchers, thank you for spending this time with me. If this story resonated with you, the full Most Improper Memoir awaits on Amazon. Find a link in my bio, along with my memoir will be Most Improper and Support Small Authors merch, with the QR code to my memoir. Please help me extend my reach and tag for featured posts. Join me for new content. YouTube Shorts, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon. Full chapters, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. and weekends at 8 p.m. TikTok Tales drop Tuesdays and Fridays at 8 p.m. Instagram Secrets, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. Your support means everything. Subscribe, leave a comment, and share with a fellow Rebel reader. All links are in my bio. Until next time, stay gloriously improper.